second. It's there. Hello, guys. You have asked me to do the reading about Tucker Carlson. Arrived in Russia, in Moscow, preparing to do the interview. Um, so for start, I'm going to open. This will be a psychic and tarot reading mix, but on the start, I'm going just to open a little bit of Tucker Carlson tweeting news. Let's see the Twitter, because I'm not going to talk about the bad comments. Uh, we can just be ironic with people who are with hate. Any kind of journalist going on the other side of the war, in that war zone, we don't see the news about that. In fact, to be thankful to attacker promoting the news to us, uh, um, revealing the veil that we have had uh, forever, that iron veil that we had from the Cold War, and it's reestablished again with this World War III story. Instead, to be thankful that Tucker Carlson is breaking through and being the first Western journalist to make that interview while there is a war last 2 years in the East Europe. For me, this is an amazing test, and for everybody, it will be a test of the democracy and reaction of the government and US when he go back home. So let's pray that Tucker Carlson will be is protected right now, uh, and his family is protected, and that he won't be suffering. We have seen so many people suffered and run away. Like, remember, so many whistleblowers and journalists, and still going on the story and praying for Julian Assange, that is now in UK, not to be delivered back to US, because the people there, they want to punish the journalism and spreading any kind of the news that the government doesn't want. And while literally they're doing something opposite, they're calling out the people from other side of the whale, and on his side, that they're the tyrannies, that they're not promoting the democracy, while they're doing eventually here on west side, here where we are surrounding with that fake and abusive word democracy. Um, it's called reverse reality, and yes, um, I can talk about this, not just like a housewife. Definitely, I'm not. I'm in geopolitics from a childhood. I was following the uh, I was observing from a childhood. I do believe was at that period. Yes, it was Ronald Reagan, and was on other side was Gorbachev, two presidents of the East and the West, when they have first talking in summit about promoting the peace and about disarming. And that was my first essay that I have done in elementary school. Imagine, guys. Yes, indeed. And uh, I can talk about this as well later on when I was studying the social and political studies, and I still do the promotion of the peace and talking against the war and talking about geopolitics in general, not talking but writing officially as a science researcher as well. I have a PhD in these studies, so yes, I could talk about this. Again, this is a spiritual reading with the spice of a little bit of my science research comments as well. On the start, we could return to that short story about Tucker Carlson. If you didn't know, this is a journalist who has literally resigned from a Fox News channel, and I have done the reading about him I do believe a year ago is, or maybe it's even 2 years ago, when he resigned from the Fox, and now he's having his independent um, blog or channel, and as well, he still continues to spread that news. I do believe he's a Taurus like me, and he's walking in the shoes of the truth, even if he has to break through the wall. And I do believe he has break so many walls, even going literally resigning from the Fox News and being independent, and that's really takes a B ALLS. You have to have it to literally stand for you, and as well you are not single, for his family and children, and as well I see he has as well puppies. Amazing. So let me read for you. He lives in the middle of nowhere now with his wife and 4 children and dogs. Great, amazing story. I guess he left after he left the being officially working for Fox News. I think he left the city as well. So he's now at the age of 54, the year 1969. I do believe Chinese, it would be in the Chinese horoscope, he would be, I do believe he would be a monkey. So, yes, they can surprise us. They can surprise us with their own reaction and actions. He used to be a CNN employee, PBS, MCNBC, and Fox News, latest from 2009 to 2023. Yes. So, yes, it's the news that he resigned the last year. As well, guys, I was making his first reading, and that reading, I had to find it, and I'm going to attach it to this video as well. I promise I'm going to attach it, so do check up in description. It will be connected my old reading to this news of a day, because I was talking about him connected with the third party, and going against the government, connected in not a manners of clubbing, but being um, in that controversy, um, business business contact. I'm just careful which word to use, not to make any kind of harm towards Tucker personality. I said not partnership with the third party outside of US, but being in contact with the third party that will be somehow very opponent to a Biden. At that period, you sent me a question: will he be on the side of Trump? Will be, but my cards were talking about there is promoting something else, being independent, there is a third party solution where he will stand for his own and being on his own. And as we see him, I do believe that he's in just looking his images. I do believe that he's independent. He didn't take a stand, and that's what a pure journalist should be net neutral, and shouldn't be on left or right side, shouldn't be with Democrats or Republicans in US in the middle of the election. It should be neutral and just reporting, teasing, observing in interviews all the parties. And if we just choose to interview just one side, let's say in US, just to interview the elected presidential side, it's not right. If we just choose in war to again interview just one side, it's not right. Why? Because we are there under the blindfold, and that's what his mission is now, to literally um, help us see the things with different eyes. So let me see just comments. Again, I'm just going to put later on for the end the comments for you guys. while I'm shuffling the cards. Let's see. First of all, the way he left, it was trying to be, it was trying to be like a secret travel, but as well, what he tried to suppress um, from the from anybody there. Like I have the impression that uh, he was really not trusting anybody. He was really undecided to trust anybody in his team, his friends, surrounding. Literally, like I think that he even rejected to say even to his family where he's exactly going. Um, and uh, him being secretive, the government will twist this for their own evil, evil um, uh, purpose. That's how I see it here. Um, is he feeling scared? Of course, he's brave, but of course he's brave, but as well he's scared of reaction of because when you play with the devil with the government, of course, uh, this guy is a human. He's afraid, of course, of reaction and the possible consequences. Um, Again, um, I must see on the bottom there is that feeling of judgment towards him, his work. The people at the moment they don't like what he's doing. Um, as well, it seems like his personal reaction is as well. I'm going to justify my work by going there and making interview with the opposite side, and that's what the pure journalism it is. So being balanced, and I just feel like being balanced in his work by going from other side of the whale. That's how he thinks the pure journalism of the war journalist should of the journalist that talks about politics should be. Mm, I do see that people will really love him. After this, people will really admire him. I see that he is going to manifest this. It's literally guys like this. If people outside of US didn't know about Tucker, why people outside of US would know about somebody's else country journalist, correct? Now they're definitely going to know, but in a nice manners because I see him manifesting being a celebrity around the world. Like literally as well, remember like Julian Assange, like um if that was a local news, it's not anymore. It's celebrity on the world scale. Um, Again, is he intimidating? With that nine of swords on the start, I said, what is his personal reaction? Will be his health safe? Will they attack his health? The government, I mean, will they punish him for the health? Because I see that there are certain things that will happen. There will be some kind of issue, and was he already having some? He cannot confirm, but he already had that traitors around him, and he didn't have proof. He was not certain um what was happening with him. I do believe that he was having some slight have reaction and before travel. Why I say because definitely what he was hiding, definitely they were observing him and. Like I said, never call out to the devil because playing with the devil um, that you ask the devil to literally interfere with his own tools, and when he gets into the game against Tucker, I mean the government, when it gets into the game against him, like definitely there were a lot of means used against him. He was definitely intimidating with the nine of swords, um, um, with doing this job, but he couldn't stop it as a Taurus energy. He couldn't stop his work. He thinks that he needs to spread the justice, and he felt that there is injustice in this blockage of the media on the west side. And yes, we are having the blockage of media. I'm always talking about this when I'm having a conference, science conference in Italy, or I'm in Sweden, or I'm because I live in few places here in Europe, and or I'm in Athens, or I'm in Belgrade. Definitely, I feel a different information in there. If I'm just back in the west side, let's say the NATO countries, I'm just going to tell you. So if I'm having the news, if I'm in Belgrade and I'm having the news and I'm watching the news parallel the all the news from the west side and from the east, and I can just choose my own opinion. That is a pure democracy. That's why I stand that. That's why Serbia was definitely ex-Yugoslavia was bombed, because I do believe we were never on the left of the right side, and that's why we still have that watching and being neutral, but watching both sides informations. So yes, you're not enough educated. You're not enough informed. Pardon, because your blockage of the media where you now it's not giving you information. If I send you in the mail, I'm giving you example. When I was in my conference last year, just the fresh news during the start of the war in the East Europe, I was sending my mail. So I have a conference. War started 2022, correct, in East Europe. So I have flight back from South Europe to Italy conference. We had international academic conference in last days of April. So 2022, so weekend, I maybe 26th to 1st May, I was in Italy for conference. I have published my work there. I was talking about the mental consequences of SOVID crisis. I reported here 15 minutes of this with no picture, just a scene in front of me. But as well, the only time that YouTube asked me to delete this message, because they call it's not official, um, it's not professional. But I have wrote the answer, but I had to delete my short video of 18 minutes, where I was literally seeing in front of me nothing else, no people even, but I was talking about my impression of the conference. What did I talk about? What was my speech during this conference about the mental consequences after this lockdown? And in my email to YouTube, I said like, why are you stopping me? Because I'm official scientist. I send them the link of my conference. I send them the link of that my speech and essay will be published in a officially Western academical society, and it is published, and was published, and will continue to be published in another places and another academical institutes, or publishing houses. um, and I never got the answer. So yes, I had to delete it. So this was the example that there was a blockage informations, and as well continue to this second team, because what I find is that we are in the literally in the war of the informations before it started the war in East Europe. But what I was sending, all the informations that I was sending, that they were coming from, started that curiosity of our being just observant of the war happening in East Europe, like we are doing this year now, last few months, with observing Middle East situation, these terrifying scenes. Now, again, we are having the information just from the one side. But do we think there is a blockage of media? Because there are so many people back in US and here where we now in West Europe. And I repeat, because I'm not in East Europe, I'm in South Europe, but as well I have a neutral stand as well. My country has a neutral stand where I am, and I live between two countries. And I used to live between two continents, between Asia and South Europe, but now I'm just in South Europe, but in two countries, in two locations, between Athens and Belgrade. And I said, do you believe that the information are just that you certainly have just one true information by having and being asked to read just these informations, and that the other reports and the war journalists from so many countries, the journalists who were coming from France, from Germany, from other countries, the guy who made a documentary about the gray zone for future republics, independent, now independent because they voted that they want to return to Russia for independent republic inside of Ukraine that we call a gray zone. That was a British author, a British director who made that documentary about the proof what was happening before war. This documentary was coming some few years before the war, and still we cannot find it. We have just small samples of this movie on YouTube and wherever it is. Because why? Why? Because it's a blockage of the media. And again, when was that started the war? Like I said, February 2022. I have a conference April 2022, few months after. And what I was doing these 2 months, the fresh news, we were terrifying with these neo-Nazis, fascists, doing the things to people from 2014 in Ukraine, doing till that period of start of the war 2022, and that we didn't know this is happening in the middle of the Europe and officially promoted. It's not like a hooligan footballers that they do some attacks, aggressivity. It's something that officially government of one country is doing. And I sent some videos, disturbing videos to my colleagues, academical colleagues, and they could never open it. So here it is. After 2 months, I go to a conference. I'm in Italy. I'm together with my colleagues, and I open it on their mailbox to see in their mailbox how they couldn't see my video. And I'm checking on their telephone, and I'm checking my telephone, my mailbox, and I cannot open even on my telephone at that point, even if I send it from another zone where I was neutral, no war zone, not East Europe, just a South Europe country, but outside of NATO. So that's a proof that I have that I was living and I'm still living in a zone where I can have a free informations. And when I was there in the middle of Italy on a conference, we couldn't see it on my friends' telephone, professors, academical emeritus, uh, people, the most intellectual, like, pardon, intellectual elite people. They were there on that conference. There were not just students, there were the people who were in academical circles, the erudites, the people with knowledge of so many other sciences, not specifically just uh, famous in one science, but a few at least. And famous for their work, for science research, for publishing work, and they couldn't see my informations. So I go back from Italy, I go back to where? To Greece, Athens. And here it is. I'm as well that year I was, yes, I was checking with the Swedish laptop. I have a third example. I was with the Swedish tablet, laptop, and as well from Sweden, it couldn't be open my mails. What I was sending to my Greek Swedish family, they couldn't open as well the news. So when we were gathering together, it was like a first May. So after the conference in Italy, I go 2022 May, first May. I'm back in Athens. Here it is, and what's happening? We are watching together. I'm looking on my telephone. I'm looking of a telephone tablet of my family, Swedish Greek family, on Swedish company provider, and it's blocked. So there is nothing. When they click on my link that I sent last few months at the start of the war, a little bit of injustice information, what the fascists were doing in Ukraine, there was a blockage. There was nothing. It's just white screen. This message cannot be opened, like a denial or something. Yes, that's widescreen. It's a blockage information. Do you think we are going to see the Tucker's Carlson interview, or we are going to have widescreen as well? So let's check this thing. I'm going to use another tarot deck for that purpose. So first, let me put the time frame of mainstream media war, and then I'm going to make a second question. Tucker's interview reaction back at home. So let's do it like that. So let's see. Will there be blockages of interview Tucker's with Putin? Wow, definitely. Wow, 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 guys. Look it, sorry. Definitely there is. Wow, it will be prohibited. It seems like at the moment they try to stop him. First of all, this card was reversed like this. They tried to stop him. Literally, he was asked from some certain friends, so-called friends, fake friends. They asked him not to go to Russia. He was threatened not to go, but as a tourist standing and walking in the shoes of truth and doing his own thing, he was ready like a bull to go for this through the wall. So they couldn't stop him. He understood that they were watching him. That was this card of betray. He had, of course, he understood that he's threatened because when the things that they asked him before through like a second party for one of his friends, he was asked things that nobody knew from his family, and he told no to anybody of the colleagues, even the family. He didn't say that his plans for going to Putin to Russia, but this friend knew these things from his emails, his plans and email correspondence where he's traveling, heading to Russia, and that was terrifying to him. Again, he didn't catch, he doesn't have a proof that they were observing him, but through this, what they said to him, and that was a personal secret, personal Tucker's inner war with everybody. Like he didn't trust nobody as well. He didn't want to jeopardize his family, just to keep it safer and not to jeopardize anybody. He was keeping this quiet. So that's why he was suppressing these informations of travel. But he was terrified when he understood that they're observing him, his mails, and what they try to release it, like to stop him, it's not working. And what they're going to do, because I shuffled the cards, will they block his interview? Will we see in US back home interview there? They will try to block it, as you see, but as well, I have a card of the um, there is always a second, there is always a way. So we are going to have it, if not now, we are going to have a deeper information after the world war. It will be recorded. Definitely, guys, I'm on a in neutral country where I can observe the information from back US, here in all the Europe, even if I'm in South Europe, but I can observe as well using Russia. So definitely we are going to have this interview, and I'm going to inform you if there are updates. Of course, it is in my short version. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like bell to join the short version as well. Information. What they're trying to stop, it's not working because there is this wheel of fortune on his side. Again, him being really undecisive. Who is the person who was checking his thing? He's uncertain. Even he lost the trust in the closest circle of his friends again. When I think he has that private station of, I do believe he has now independent private um podcast or something, and he's uncertain who the channel, the tool, who was checking his email. Again, he understood that they can just observe it just from the air. It's just that the energy of we are the government, we can do it even from not even sending anybody to put something in your room, to put something in your computer. Definitely, he's really sad, and he's he's brave doing this, but at the same in the same period, he's very sad, bitter on the. Did he disappoint? I must say that he, yes, this is a card for me, bitter and disappointed about whatever he was believing that believing it, I say it in the past tense now, was before, because he doesn't believe anymore there is democracy there. Before he thought it's just some causes, but now when they certainly go and interfere with his private computer, like wow, it's happening like some action movie thriller, and he's leading, he's the main character in this movie, um, like a conspiracy theory against him. So definitely, yes, he's a patriot. Yes, he's a real idealistic Taurus who would do anything for promoting the human rights, and that's what it is, for helping other people, um, on even hurting and damaging himself. I mean, having a serious consequence in his life, personal life, while he's doing this. He's doing this for really for collective. But on the other side, he lost that, um, he his love for patriotism, and his that inner child inside of him having idealism before about the democracy in his country in US, it's lost. That's why this um, this heartbroken um, child is here. But guys, what they tried to stop him, as you see, the cards are reversed because they tried to stop him, these two cards, not to go there, but as well not to spread information. This is the last question, the second question. First, not to go there, they threaten him, then they're going to try to stop promoting his material, but material is kept already and in the air. Even if you have a blockage during the war, you're going to find a way and have it to see it through. Let's say my country, independent country, from some friend from another country where you can still watch the news as well from the opposite side. There's so many countries that they're outside of the blockages of media, outside of NATO, and still you can observe. And these countries, they don't belong. Again, I'm repeating every sentence I have to repeat. They don't belong to confederates or alliance with Russia. But they just observe the news in democratic way, both sides news, and that's a real spirit of journalism. That's a real democracy. You're in denial, and you're living in denial, um, of living just one, watching just one truth, because the truth is everywhere. The truth, there are the two sides of the stories, and if you don't want to hear the other side of the stories, uh, that's really a pure injustice. And if you do the certain things in your manners, selfish and um, unethical manners in any war stage, in any war or battle, anything that was, I'm talking now as a historian, in any war or battle, whoever was doing something unethical, the future and the consequences would be definitely not good for this person or side that was doing something unethical, unfair in the war. At the end, any war is about chivalry and being respectable even with the enemy. And it's the force and the strength of one society and one democratic society is letting other person to tell their story, but being enough confident that you can support your story as well, and you can tell your truth, and you can still listen and let other people hear their story as well. That's the real confident and real democratic society. But I mean, we are losing it. We lost it. I mean, we lost it when we have a blockage of the media whenever we were interfering with the war interference in any other country, in any zone, in the middle of Europe, bombing ex-Yugoslavia, bombing Serbia, in the middle Syria, in the middle of Afghanistan, Iraq, now Palestine, then Ukraine and still Ukraine. Like there is so many war zones where we don't even know about this. Who are these countries? Like there is that arrogance of that. It's not our personal arrogance that we live on the west side. It's just that they are teaching us, and we are victims of the arrogance um, of that mainstream medias are whatever they are serving us. So we are victims of this information that is in fact disinformation. Um, and what is striking that he's going to spread the love. And you know what? I always see when I look in any kind of the war readings, I always see the government and US I see as a selfish and empire card as a superpower. And yes, that's what we want to be, that we are superpower and that we are tyranny and superpower. We can do our own thing on only one way, our way. The only way is our way. And that's why I always have that card of empire for us. And it's interesting because when I look at in this war with this Europe, I always for the reading about Russia and Putin, I get the card of that king, king and queen of cups energy, whereas that energy of trying to care about the planet Earth and trying to promote spreading the love and suggesting the peace instead of promoting the war profiteers of the west side. And look at how is it said, literally look at I'm here to protect as a father figure. That's how Putin is going to be representing finally, and that's what is not representing. That's what is his final mission and all the time mission. Because even before the war in Ukraine started, he was trying to push narrative for the peace negotiation about raison for republics, but that there were pro-Russians, four provinces inside of Ukraine on the east side was the border of Russia, and they Zelensky and Ukraine never wanted. Not that they didn't want it; they were pushed from U.S. Uh, not to have a peace with him. And he understood this is everything about material greediness of the war profiteers. And he's trying to have a peace, and he's informing the public that yes, there were profiteers, but I want to have a peace and I don't want to hurt anybody as the father figure here, nurturing energy of protector. I don't want to spread the death. I want to have agreement with you. Um, as well, he's going to talk about on the bottom is eight of swords. He's going to talk about financial, economical codependence of the all the countries in NATO towards the US with all these loans, and as well economical codependence, financial codependence of the Ukraine, and it is getting deeper into the depths through the war things, because all these things are not a presence, they are just like a debt credit in the bank, but you need to suffer later on. And who is going to suffer? Citizens, simple citizens. A politician like Zelensky that's going to be in Miami with his yacht and expensive country, like billions, how many zeros he has per month, and uh, how much money he spent, why he's having this. And one artistic person before becoming a politician, he was just artist, uh, actor, and how he having a yacht and a house, I'm guessing as well in yes, there were reports even of his house and his and yacht on the start of the war of 2022. Before war started, they give him a present, his house and yacht in Florida, something like that. And this financial codependency continues because the trap of the West society and all these puppet politicians, that's what he's going to represent. And this, give me the cash, but as well, I'm blackmailed and uh, from uh, from the superpower. That's what he's going to talk about. Uh, Again, one second. Wow. I think will he have interview? One second. Will he have interview with Putin or with somebody else as well? One second. Will Tucker have interview with Putin and somebody else? With whom? Yes, as well. Look at there will be as well. I saw two times some female figure. He's going to have interview as well with some female figure that is there at the top figure around Putin. As well, it seems like right now he's having meeting other people that they're like people around Putin, but not himself. And there is that feeling of we have to do it in diplomatic manners, so we are going to trick them. They expect me to have a reason to, when I return back home, to pronounce that I'm a traitor, but as well, somehow the way the interview is going to be taken with the people around Putin giving the interview to Tucker, I feel it like it won't be a personal interview face to face with him, but it will be with his closest circle of um, of people around him that they are having a certain position and promoting the real news about the war informations and that's what we need now living on the other side of the web with blockages of information. And yes, definitely look at. I see that there will be a person behind in this top in this top in a pyramid behind putting around putting closest circle of people there in the power that are going to give an interview and somehow to trick them to protect Tucker from being accused going back to US that he had direct meeting with this enemy. So it looks like that at the moment. I mean, again, guys, this is just the news that he arrived in Moscow. The interview is not there. So it could be the energy of a first day being in Moscow that he has the meetings with these PR politicians around him, around Putin, not him directly at the moment. Let me see more. Will he see Putin face to face, Tucker? Look at. Definitely, he has intention to do this. One second. I'm getting free cards till now, 888. Whatever he's doing, it's going to be abundant success in future. However, it's dramatical and difficult now. What started like, let's push him not to go there, Eight of Cups and reverse um, execution. Definitely, he was threatened not to go there. He was threatened, and I think he, he said that he's embarrassed how inconvenient to him was that he was feeling threatened and blackmailed from them. Intimidating, I mean, is the right word. But here it is. After Eight of Cups turning to Eight of Wands, and whatever they try to blackmail him as well with the Eight of Swords didn't work. Like I said, through the reverse of that execution, reverse death. He really is a brave, don't care, even if he was really blackmailed with these really terrifying things. But here it is, like bull, real Taurus spirit. And I'm Taurus, by the way. Go, go, Tucker. We are with you. We are in praise with you, and we are sending you our courage. And we need your courage so that we could be brave, like you. And 1 second. There is that crossroad. Like, should I really be so daring to really do the interview with Putin, or just finish with this uh, other people around him, so that I could have a less consequences back at home, where I'm going back home because I'm a citizen of the US and I was warned that I shouldn't see Putin. But guys, with Magician card and Wheel of Fortune, definitely I see him being wow. And again, look at Magician 2 times with 2 tarot decks. Definitely he's whatever he was afraid of, definitely. Guys, I think that he has a blockage of finance as well, because they threaten they are going to that they are going to block his financial situation as well. Look at this was the order of these 2 cards: Eight of Swords, Death, and King of Pentacle as well. Of course, like any journalist was doing this when was the gray zone pronounced with all the real news before starting the war in Ukraine, and now during the war, the French academical person, all was trying to just spread the news from there, from Donbass or one of other 4 republics that they were pro-Russian, and one journalist, German journalist, and that British movie director, he done this before war, that movie about Grey Zone, the real documentary about people living without electricity from 2014 era, and being bombed and all the schools being there, the rooftops broken. Like, what kind of life is this for all these people from 2014? Remind me, that's parallel, remind me to a few left Serbians Christians, few left Christians that they're in Kosovo, and that they're every day um, living in fears and every day under attack, and the children are under attack of the Kosovo people because they're just against the Christianity, and that's the whole purpose of of um, of promoting the hate there. It's like a pure satanistic thing, whatever is happening in whatever war zone, it's wherever people go and pray the churches, whatever is a religion. They broke up in with the bombs in inside Palestine in the churches of Christianity. In Palestine there are Christian churches, and rest the rest of the churches, Jews or mosques, I mean Muslim churches, it's it's still against going against the spiritual thing, attacking directly the center of that should be a symbol for the peace and any kind of temple. And that's what they do in Ukraine. They have what they've done even the first year, I do believe. They broke into they block, and they literally they expelled the patriarch archbishop, like a pope of Orthodox Church in Ukraine. They expelled him, and they just broke in all the monastery and all the temples uh, of Orthodox Christians there as well. So yes, it's a spiritual war. This is really just a pure evil thing. Uh, so returning back to Tucker with this free time eight, like I said, whatever they were trying to threaten, even through his daring life, because he's threatened. He's doing this, but it's not with any kind of business. He has so much to sacrifice. I mean, he already lost the job. He left Fox as well. Now they're pushing the narrative and as well living independent with the family, children, pets outside of city. He has to change the lifestyle totally and financial situation. And plus now to be blackmailed, they threaten that they are not safe anymore back even there outside the city, outside of system, because the government wants you to be in the system. They don't want you to be independent. What is now happening, like they do literally the government uh, whatever they done, it's like they're literally they fell into their own trap. That's how I see it. And like at the end of any story, like whoever is trying to be foxy, evil, any kind of lies or trick, at the end of the day, they're the losers. And that's how I see it. There is still the media cannot be stopped. And there's revisit what they start to block. It was like something doing in 1950s, like, yes, go and threaten your scientists that they won't leave the country, and go and threaten this and that person. You cannot publish this and this. Don't go there. It doesn't work these days. Things doesn't work because the media and internet is helping out spreading this thing, whatever they're trying to block. Because guys, look at the government again. Did I say the government card, Uncle Sam? Always it's Emperor card. So here it is, Emperor card, as you see, and reverse chart. What they're trying to stop, it's not working. It's reverse. Beautiful reading. Like I literally said that, and that's what is showing up here. So with all this 888, go for this because Tucker, be brave. Whatever they're going to stop, it's not working. It's even when they try to stop you going there, it's not working. They're going to stop promoting your, I mean, spreading your news over the internet, but it's not working. It's already the news is in there. And this is really on the bottom is look at popping out two cards of breaking through all this toxicity as well. A new way must be a new solution and breaking the pattern of toxic manipulation of the government. Whatever they tries to suppress, it's over. These are not the days for suppressing anymore. These are the days of the spreading the information and breaking through any kind of blockages. As you see, it's reverse cherry. Whatever was suppressed, it's not working anymore. It's time for releasing, and the doors are open for releasing the news that the government, with the Uncle Sam card, want to stop. And this have to stop this manipulation with mainstream media. That's the message of his. That's the final mission. That's what he wanted to do. Because at the end of the day, if we are on one side of the war and in this hate mood, we don't want to listen that interview, but the final result and point of him being there and talking about this and showing up that they wanted to stop him doing this interview and showing up that they want him not to have this news back at home in US. It's that point to tell to have final proof for the blockage of the media and that we have to be brave like Tucker is brave to go through this as well. This is a card eight to me, and together with all this eight, it's like a full circle of abundance. Yes, for the tough challenges, he's he's going to finish his mission. It's interesting. Should we spice it more? I will stop here, guys. They tried to manipulate him for some kind, spreading this news about a fake lover as well. or we are going to see some kind of, this is always happening, guys, when they want to get rid of somebody in these political news or political circles, any kind of powerful figure, they always manipulate with some sex news, and that's what they done with Elon Musk, guys. I have said as well in Elon Musk readings. Now the guy is blackmailed because they called him out. Remember when they called out Elon Musk a spy just because he wanted to talk? And that's, I'm going to write this as well. Let me do that. Opening parallel, Elon Musk being blackmailed. So it was the first year of the war in East Europe, 2022. So it started the end of February, but I think September, like after the start of the end of the summer, start of the spring, like September, the first day of September, they were starting to spread this brutal news. Elon Musk is a traitor, and that's what is now a crucial. The first hashtag when you want to put Tucker Carlson is a traitor. Why? Because Elon Musk suggested that month to do the talk with the Putin, to do negotiation, to stop the war. What they didn't want, they want the opposite, to continue the war. Because war is a thing where the war profiteers are having the success, extra cash. So I'm going to make it just a parallel on Musk. So they called him out a Russian spy. And the guy is a multimillionaire living there in US, being called out spy. And you know what is happening with Russian spies from the start of the war, back even in other countries in West Europe, not just US, in UK, everywhere in Europe. They just blocked and took their resources. They took their yachts, they took all the bank accounts. They couldn't pay anybody, like having so many people working for them. Just imagine how much 1 billionaire having just on one yacht. The staff can be 50 to 100 people working for one yacht, like one company. And imagine how much they have in real factories wherever they have their own companies. So many, I'm guessing, if they are billionaires. Imagine how many people were left without the job, without the monthly payments. How many families are suffering, not just pro-Russian billionaires or ex-Russian, but that they were like from 1988 living in UK or US. It's really a pure evil because this money is somewhere used directly later on for a government. It's just a pure, it's legal government thief in action, correct? How I would name it. I have to think what would be the expression in English. Again, pardon me, guys, it's not my mother tongue language. So when we talk again with the Elon Musk situation, so what was happening? I'm just going to put the time frame for you guys. So that was happening September 2022. So he stopped the satellite that they used. The government pushed him to use the satellite over the Ukraine from the start of the war, and he stopped it as well. He suggested, let's do the I don't want my satellite to be used against them moving Russian soldiers as a target. That was not the purpose of the satellite. Uh, and as well, he suggested to stop the war that he could go and negotiate with Russia, with Putin. And that's where I started the first calling out American superpower figure, most successful person in the US being called out as a Russian spy. That's really unfair. And why they done this? Simply to blackmail him, that he eventually these days and later on he continues to what? What to do? He had to buy the Twitter, even if he at the end of September 2022 He was pushed to buy the Twitter even if he didn't want anymore to do it. Why? Because the government wanted to continue that manipulation with political news, with the proxy media war. And example again, when I'm talking about geopolitics and when I have this, even the spiritual reading or geopolitical theme, political questions with my own perspective that is a little bit different, that is against the mainstream media in any country, literally as well on Twitter, my profile was shadow banned. And it is, even when I ask Elon frequently Elon Musk official verified Elon Musk profile, and when I so many times once a month I say like why we are still shadow banned. There is no answer. So many people are asking this as well, why we are still shadow banned. And that's what it is, continues to be in these fake manners because he's blackmailed Elon Musk, and now they're trying to do the same with Tucker Carlson. But this year is not good for that. Definitely, that's what I'm going to say. Definitely, they go around this old model of blackmail, like try to make a threat with suggesting a so-called sending out the cheater, sending out the third party. They try to do with Tucker, but they as well trying to do with his wife, but it's not working. They're protected, definitely. Look at the family is protected, like I said, and it's not working. They try to do something around to promote some kind to seduce them with certain things. Again, these are two cards of trying to to seduce them with promoting and even buying them out. How to say? Uh, Look at, but it's not working. They were playing on a card that they wanted to tell him they're going to cancel, like I said, their financial resources to block it. Why I see? Because in the bottom of the penniless card is a nine of wands. We are going to block everything, so you will be penniless if you reject to do what we are talking about. You will be pronounced as a spy, and any traitor in a country, in our country in war, will be materially, financially blocked all your financial accounts. That's their classical blackmail, and they try to do, they certainly they succeeded. Not that they tried, they literally succeeded with Elon Musk because the guy is now like a puppet walking there, like going to Israel, not seeing Gaza, going to Poland. Like what are you doing in Poland? Like I have a victims, the grandfather and his brother, they are in Second World War in Dachau in Auschwitz, but I never been. What are you doing, Elon Musk there? Like, and because the guy doesn't want to have financial block, and that's what they're trying to do with Tucker. Guys, again, this is a parallel. Will US be pushed not to touch Tucker Carlson life? What is their strategy? I see it reverse. What they have on the mind, literally, it's they have to postpone it because it's obviously that all the world is observing now their blackmails. I'm just curious to watch how um, the future interviews with Tucker when he returned back at home. What will be his news updates about reaction of Americans towards him? That's my That's my message here. I'm not curious about the interview in Moscow. I'm curious about the consequences observing, because whole world is watching you now. So you can spread your fake democracy, or you can pretend to keep quiet and do your democracy, and letting the guy return back to his wife and family and doing his own life mission. That's what is at the end the real American dream should be. And let me make a short version. Okay, guys, 1 second. I want to record. Stepping out. Other news are popping out here. So here it is. Tucker Carlson is definitely the first day in Moscow, seeing the other parties around Putin, not him, as well. He was pushed and tried to be blackmailed back at home not to leave the country. Yes, even threatened financially that he is going to be blocked as a traitor. But this guy is having a full abundance, all the 8 cards here, and definitely he's brave, and will be the final spreading the news. Will be the only solution, because what the government want to do and trying to suppress, it's not working. The gate is open for balancing the information, and as well there what was their strategy to block his assets, it's not working these times. The fake democracy is really watched from other sides, so they have to stop this. They have to stop these blackmails. 1 second. This is a short version, guys. Okay, Carlson. Tucker in Moscow. Let me see if there's a hashtag. My message is, guys, finally again, stop the war, and let's pray that this news will, the message of peace and love that has only to prevail in this global wars, where we are all threatened with financial loss, with mainstream media disinformation. Only peace and love has to reunite all of us, and injustice and disinformation, fake information has to be spread. And if there is a person that want to promote spreading the justice, fighting for real Christianity, fighting against the neo-fascist in other zones, or somebody who treats you like a new fascist uh, in these manners, doing something against the human rights. Of course, we have to spread all this news. Um, and my message is always we should pray to stop the war, and that is my last hashtag as well in any of this war prediction, of course, because love and peace is the only solution. And that's why we are made to live here on this planet Earth with this divine love energy. Definitely, we are not made to have a war and hate. And let's pray that Tucker Carlson will not suffer, and his family, and all the beings in this family, including pets, will not suffer uh, from any kind of the government attack, or the citizens of local citizens that they're pronouncing him now that he's traitor, but he's not. Definitely, he's just a pure journalist, and any other journalist should be ashamed of not doing the work like the Tucker is doing. Because why you would call yourself journalist if you are spreading the only one side news, or call it a lies or disinformation? You should be ashamed not doing the work that is Tucker Carlson doing. So guys, let's pray for no suffering in this war, and not suffering for the Tucker Carlson family, and let him be protected. Amen. Good luck, Tucker. You're the bull, you're the Taurus like me. Fight for the justice for others. That's your mission in this life.